Hi everyone, and welcome to the very first interview in our Save Our Sanity series, the series for saving time and getting shit done, because we all need that as small business owners. Today we have an amazing guest. Our guest is Liam Carnahan, and he is a content strategist all the way from the other side of the world. He is in New England. Hi Liam, how you doing?
Hi. I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. You want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Liam. Like you said, I'm a content strategist. Um, I run Inkwell Content,
Yes.
which is basically a catch-all service. So I do everything from building really robust content strategies for small businesses. I also do SEO content. So I'll write content that helps people improve their rankings on Google or connect with their audience better, or just figure out what their business is trying to say. I'm a writer by trade, so usually I deal with the written word, but I do all types of content as well. So video, podcast, graphic design. Got a whole team with me that I have do and produce these kinds of things. So that's my business. I have another business too called Invisible Ink Editing, and that is a fiction editing business as well. So both of them are full freelance all the time. Like you said, I live in New England, so I'm over in the States, but I lived in Australia for 6 years and just got back here in May to spend time while we're in lockdown with my family.
Makes sense. It's a good time to bond, get back together with your loved ones. That's an impressive CV you've got there. You've been doing it for a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been working in content marketing now for about 10 years. I really kind of got into this by accident. I started in 2008. I got hired. I was just looking for a job that would pay me to write. I didn't know what content marketing was. Actually, no one really knew what content marketing was back then. That job turned out to be more or less a content farm, but I grew with that business and learned more. Went to Australia, really honed my skills over there, working in a few agencies, and then struck out on my own as a freelancer in 2019.
Nice. That's so cool. So now you're one of the little guys doing big things for big people, though. It's fabulous.
Yeah,
Do you
trying
enjoy
to.
the flexibility and the freedom of working for yourself?
Oh my God, I'm never going back ever. I mean, it's a little bit of a downer because my plan was to spend all of 2020 traveling. But obviously, anyone who's watching this knows that's not possible. So a little bit sad, but being able to run my own schedule, take time off in the weekdays or whenever my family wants to hang out, work when I feel like it, and more than anything else, work less than I was working when I was chained to a desk. It's all really good stuff.
And whenever you like, and in your PJs if you really want to. It's kind of good.
Yep, exactly. It's really nice.
So take us through then, Liam. When you first started, what did it feel like? Was it a little hectic, or were you like super organized from the get-go?
So this is like my second try at freelancing, and my first attempt was back in 2012. So 8 years ago now, and that was when I started my fiction editing company, Invisible Ink Editing. And I am not embarrassed to say I failed. I was not a good freelancer. I did all the things wrong. I didn't know how to manage money or manage my business. I didn't know how to set boundaries with people. So, when somebody called me up and said, let's go get a cocktail, I would go do it, even if I didn't have the time, because I thought I'm a freelancer. The discipline wasn't really there. I was much younger and had not very much experience with running a business. And also a lot of the stuff that's available to freelancers in 2020 just didn't exist in 2012.
Okay.
So this time around, I've completely changed my approach, and I decided this time I'm going to do it right. I'm going to get set up entirely. I'm going to have all the tools and everything necessary and be super organized so that I can live a better lifestyle.
Absolutely, because you want to do the old work to live, not live to work situation. It's getting the balance right, isn't it? You didn't go into business to like kill yourself working, I guess.
Yeah, I'm anti-hustle culture. I like want to work as little as possible for the most amount of money as possible. I'm not one of those people who says, you got to put in 12 hours a day every single day. No, I'm never going to be that guy. I never have been that guy. So my goal when I started out this time was, how can I maximize my time and my processes so that I can work like 3 or 4 hours a day? And I'm doing pretty well.
I'll bet. So that was really the point of difference for you. That change moment was deciding to start again, but not wanting to repeat the patterns of the first attempt. Does that pretty much sum it up?
Yeah, exactly. I just thought, there have been a lot of stress and anxiety, depression when I had to kind of give up and go back to working full time last time, and I just really didn't want to do that. So being older, having a little bit more experience, I'm not going to tell you my age, but I'm more like, okay, I get it now. Like, I understand what needs to be done in order to run a business. I want to do everything above board so that I'm not anxious about money or anything. And
Totally. It's worth putting all those systems and checks in place, which is a perfect segue, because you have shown me, just by good fortune, you've shown me some really amazing organizational tools, and the approaches that you take are just, they look calming to me. Did you want to take us through them a little?
Yeah, I'd love to. So calming is the right word. That's like my main goal in life, is to be relaxed and just not anxious about anything. And that means always knowing where everything is and what's happening next, which is really hard as a freelancer because you don't have a boss who's reminding you that your meeting is at this time. You don't have anybody really doing accountability for you except for yourself. So I just have come up with a process that works for me. I'm not going to say that it'll work for anybody out there. Everybody will have to have their own process. But I have some strategies that can kind of be used no matter who you are. If you're somebody who's like stressed all the time or finds yourself missing stuff, like you forgot to send an email or you missed a meeting, these kind of strategies can really help. I think the first thing I would talk about, and this is the one that a lot of people kind of look at me funny when I say it, but I time everything I do. I literally time everything I do. I have a timer running right now on the other screen. I set a timer when I'm updating LinkedIn. I set a timer when I'm answering emails. For me, if you are looking for a good timer, if you're in Australia, New Zealand, I can't recommend Rounded more. It's just rounded.com.au. It's a freelancer service that does paid, it's about $12 a month or $16 a month. I can't remember. It's not much, but it does everything: invoicing. You can manage your clients. You can see all your income and your output. And having a system like that, I'm about to switch over to QuickBooks because unfortunately Rounded hasn't come to the States yet. It is someday maybe, but for now I can't use it. But having a system like that, you can log in every day and feel really comfortable. But the thing I like most about Rounded is that it has a built-in timer where you can literally type in the project that you're working on, assign it to a client, and then start timing. And the reason I do that, it might sound a little ridiculous to time like 30 seconds of answering an email, but it's not. There's a number of reasons. One is that I can then quote appropriately, so I know how long it takes me to write a blog post versus how long it takes me to run a meeting and prepare for a meeting. But that's actually not the main reason I do it. It's not about quoting for me. It's about having an actual concept of how long certain things take me, because then that allows me to plan. So if I know that I'm going to dedicate an hour to updating my own website, I can much easier fit that into my calendar, my planner, if I know exactly how long it normally takes me. If you don't want to sign up for Rounded, but you still want to use a free timer, you can use Toggle. It's TOGL.com. And it's the same exact thing. It also is really nice because I'm a data nerd. And so being able to look back and see, I'm more productive on Tuesdays than I am on Fridays. That's just a basic fact about myself, which means when I'm planning my week, I know to front load on Tuesdays because I'm going to get a lot done that day. So having a visibility on how much time certain tasks take you, especially if you do a lot of the same tasks over and over, it shows you, how to designate your time a little bit more. It also shows you where maybe you're spending a little bit too much time. Like, I try to spend an hour on LinkedIn every day, but sometimes I look at my timer and I realize it's been 3 hours, and you're like, oh,
The
you know,
social media time suck for business people. It's still the same thing, really.
it's real. It's so real. It's real, especially when you're a lonely freelancer, right?
Yeah.
It's very easy.
Yeah,
for
sure. I suppose part of that is having the discipline to hit go on the timer. Like I use Toggle, and increasingly so, but it's taken me a long time to remember to press start and then to press stop. It's like so basic. Still learning.
I hear you. Yeah, the Rounded one has an app, and it actually notifies you when your timer is still running if you're like suspiciously working on something for too long. So you get a notification that says, "Hey, your timer's still running." And it is a matter of learning to hit go and do it every time. I like Toggle and Rounded both. You can add manual entries. So if you forgot to record something or you realized you hadn't hit start, you can just add that time in. It is a little tedious at first, but for me at least, it got really addictive because soon I was able to see the data, you know, those beautiful bar graphs that show you how much time you work, how much time you spent with the client. And then also to be able to say, okay, I feel like I didn't get paid enough that time. And to do the simple, you know, amount of money divided by hours spent, and then you see your hourly rate. If you have a dream hourly rate for how much money you want to make, you can really tell whether or not you're undercharging or overcharging or not charging enough. I don't believe there's anything overcharging. So
it's true. If someone's willing to pay it, it's not too expensive.
Right. Just in your service. But I think that's like tip number one for me is like just get a hold of how much time you're spending. The next thing I would say is, and this is by far not my own invention, it's something that you probably have heard other people say, but the way you deal with your own goals is like the key to success, right? So I have 3 sets of goals. I have long-term goals, or more like an annual goal. I have short-term monthly goals, and then I have daily goals. Well, I even have weekly goals and daily goals. So with the big picture stuff, you know, that's really more of like, I journal it, I talk about it constantly. You know, I have it recorded in certain different places, but it's not like I have a certain tool for that because I kind of know what they are. But for the monthly goals and the weekly goals and the daily goals, that's where tools have really helped me. So I would say for monthly goals, I use Trello. There's 1,000,000,001 options, but I like Trello because it's pretty, it's easy. You can drag and drop it. It also, it's gorgeous. And I basically have 5 boards on there. I have like one for my personal life. So, you know, for things I need to do, like go to the bank, buy a present for my mom, you know, transfer money around, whatever. Then I have one for all of my active clients. They each have their own list, so I know exactly what tasks are due just that month. And then I have one for my own businesses, so you know what marketing I'm going to be doing that month. And I have lists like email marketing, blogging, you know, LinkedIn or social media. So I have little streams. And that's kind of, I sort of sit down at the beginning of every month on the 1st. I'll be doing it in a couple days, and I just fill that out. I spend an hour or 2 filling it out. I go through each client. What do they need this month? What's coming up? Go through my content calendars, move everything onto that Trello account. And then I'm like, on the 1st of the month, I'm like, okay, everything I need to do this month is now written down. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to hold all these things in my head. They're all there. And then I have like a mini version of that every week. So every week I use a wonderful program called Notion.io. It's a little bit of a learning curve because it is kind of very I say basic. What I mean by basic is it's extremely customizable. You can kind of turn it into whatever you want it to be just by. I use it for a bunch of different things, but the main thing I use it for is my to-do list. So I basically there's a template on there you can copy from that, and I did, and it's just Monday through Friday. There's a column for each one. On Sunday night, it's like very zen for me. I sit down, usually with a glass of wine, and I just go through my Trello board. I've got 2 monitors, so I've got Trello on one side, I've got Notion on the other, though they actually integrate, so you don't need to do it. No, I do it that way. And I basically think, okay, first thing I do, go to my calendar, get all my calendar meetings onto my Trello so that I know what days I have meetings and I never, ever miss a meeting. Next, I go through my Trello page by page. I always start with my personal stuff first, because if you're not taking care of your personal life, like if you don't go to the bank or get that haircut, you're gonna go crazy.
That's
So I
true.
schedule that stuff in, and then I go through my clients. I get all of their tasks in, and because I know how long certain tasks are going to take me, it's very easy for me to look at my weekly planner and think, okay, I've got most of the day Monday, I'm not doing anything. I'm going to put 15 items on my Monday schedule, but Tuesday, my friend wants to meet for lunch, and then I'm kind of feeling tired, so I'm only going to put 5 things on Tuesday.
Nice.
And I kind of plan it out that way, so that by the time Monday morning rolls around, when I wake up on Monday morning, I've already got to-do lists for the entire week,
Nice.
and I get the wonderful pleasure of checking them off.
Yeah,
one,
it feels good, doesn't it?
Uh,
To-do lists are the best for that. Sense of achievement.
Yeah.
What happens then?
Yeah.
Maybe you've got better boundaries than me. I find myself still reacting a bit, like when something new comes in, then that seems to shift my plan for the day or for the week, and perhaps that just needs a bit more strong boundaries around it. Is that the way you would approach new work coming in?
Yeah. Well, one reason I like Notion and Trello is because they're drag and drop, right? So if something urgent comes up, or I book a new meeting, I mean, you and I booked this meeting only a few days ago. So when I did my weekly plan, I wasn't expecting to have this meeting. But because Notion allows you to drag and drop, it's really easy to prioritize and say, okay, well, that's a blog article. It's not actually due till next Wednesday, so I can move that to Saturday and make room for this review. I also kind of, don't beat myself up if it doesn't get done on the day that I said it was going to get done. If you look at my weekly planner, if you look at it on a Sunday when I'm making it, Monday's like this long, Tuesday's like this long, Wednesday's like this long, Thursday's like this long. That's because I know I'm more ambitious than I actually am capable of. So something that I say I'm going to do on Monday, I look at, usually I'm done working around 4 or 5 o'clock, and I say, all right, I'm not doing that anymore. I can't do that today. I'm going to have to move that to Tuesday. And, it's okay. As a freelancer, you get to set the boundaries. But if you know how long something's going to take you because you've been timing yourself, then it's much easier to say to a client, I can get this to you on Wednesday, because you have time. And that's really what this is all about. It's like,
that's so comforting.
Right now, because
you've just given me total revelation there.
No one has foresight beyond.
Yeah, I'm just soaking this all in, because the feeling of calm that's washing over me, just at the idea of having it, because it all's in my head. I have all these timings of like roughly what I think it will take because I've done it, but it's all in my head, and that's clutter, really, isn't it? Like the thought of being able to just put it on paper and not have to think, okay, there's this and this task going to take me this long, and that task, I could have that done by Thursday, and that's going to take just to have it put down and out of your head sounds really, really good.
Yeah, it is the best feeling when you are done on Sunday night and you're like, okay, and I don't do much on Sundays. Like usually that's my day off. This is the only thing I do on Sundays, and I actually look forward to it, because I sit down, I get I wait till the end of the night when I'm, ready to go to bed almost, and I just want to unwind. I get everything down, and then I'm like, okay, the whole week is ready to go, and I just have to wake up tomorrow and look at my to-do list and then start it. It's a really good feeling, and you're right, like that visibility changes everything.
Yeah. I have so much work to do the work, to not have to do the work.
Yeah, well, it's like one step at a time, but that's what I mean about breaking things up into small goals. Like, for example, on Trello, my goal might be write a new email sequence about whatever, right? Like write a new email sequence about dogs. And rather than putting that onto my to-do list, you can't put that onto your to-do list, right? Because that's something that's maybe going to take a few days, might take a few hours, and you can't put that on it. But what you can put is write one email for the email sequence, or look at my current email sequences and edit them for 1 hour. That's, if you're putting it on your daily to-do list, it needs to be something that you can do and check off. It can't be some big goal that's going to take all week, because then it just floats around on that thing. It's like break it down until it's something that you're like, okay, I can do that in 15 minutes. I can do that in 20 minutes. And honestly, that's the time range that most of my tasks take, is 15 to 20 minutes, because that's what works for me.
Yeah.
But it does feel better.
Yeah, yeah. I have some work to do today. Is pretty much the first day that I don't have a full day of work planned in July, because July's just been insane. So maybe I've just got myself, my task for the day is to organize the hell out of August and forever.
I bet you'll love it. It's so nice.
Great.
It's so free.
Yeah, especially if you get to have a glass of wine while you're doing the organizing. It's like two great things in one session.
Right. I'm totally all about positive reinforcement. So for me, wine is like the positive reinforcement, or alcohol in general. But, you know, whatever it is, you eat that cupcake while you do it. Like, if you associate it with a treat, you know, like humans on you're like, ooh, wine, get organized. It's a life changer.
So we're not too far removed from dogs then. We just need that Pavlovian response and we'll be sorted.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, I think there's some amazing tips in there. I hope everybody is taking notes, because I'll be playing this back at least 4 times and getting all the information down. What we're going to do next, so today's Monday, so Tuesday we'll have a little tip from Liam, and then Thursday we're going to have the full blog that comes out through email and through the Innovators and Content Creators group. So Liam, thank you so much for your time today. Your tips are absolutely fantastic, and as is your work on LinkedIn. So Inkwell Creations. Inkwell content. Yeah, oh dear.
Yeah.
My poor mush
That's
brain.
Okay. And it's just inkwellcontent.com if anybody wants to come and say hi or poke on LinkedIn, whatever it takes. I love hearing from people. And
please follow Liam on LinkedIn, because he speaks sense. Every single thing he says is useful and amazing. So keep it up, Liam. Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks, Lizzie.
Cheers.